My favorite is definitely camping in a van. But if you don't have a van, then you probably have a car. And if you don't have a car, then you probably have a tent. And if you don't have a tent, then, well, hopefully you have this. Welcome back, my name's Nate, and today we're gonna be doing an honest review on Kammok's hammocks. Yeah, I think I got it right. So the first thing we're gonna do is set up the hammock. And in setting up the hammock, I'm gonna go ahead and touch on all of the different things that I think you need. First, when you set up your hammock, you need, well, something to hang your hammock from. If you don't wanna sleep on nylon on the floor, then I suggest finding a tree or a van. So my van, if you park two vans next to each other, then you could easily just loop it right in between. I've even seen this done on a strike team for a large fire that I was on. It was pretty creative. Most of the time, you're just gonna find a tree. In setting up the hammock, make sure that your trees are 10 to 15 feet apart from each other. I'd recommend something closer to 10 feet just because who really knows whether it's 10 feet or 15 feet. If you can get it within 10 feet of each other, you're looking pretty good. Grab your Python 10s. Now, this is available at Kammok, and these make life so much easier. So once you've gotten your Python 10s, these things can hold well up to 500 pounds. There are 20 connection points, and there's 2 of them in a little tiny 8-ounce bag. The Python 10s are $35. So after you've gotten your straps hooked up to your tree and done a little lark's footing, then go ahead and grab your hammock. Super easy, just take it out of its own little pack that it has. The hammock itself is the Roo single. This Roo single is $75. It weighs 11 ounces, comprised of a ripstop nylon, and is water resistant. Now, this is also 100% recycled nylon. The color that I have is pine green. This hammock, the Roo single, holds up to 500 pounds. So once you've grabbed your hammock, you go ahead and connect your carabiners that come with the hammock, one on one side, one on the other side. I like to make sure that they are even, if not just a little bit higher than the other. Once you've done that, you could just sit on it and call it good. Or you could also grab something called the Mesa Mat. The Mesa Mat is $40. I find it really, really nice. You can use it as a shelter. You could use it as just like a lay it out and put your gear on it so your gear doesn't get nasty, or if you're in the snow, it's not gonna sit in the snow. This thing's really nice for that. It's also nice if you just like throw it on the ground, pin it down or stake it down and throw your shoes on top of it. Everyone wants to get into their nice little cozy hammock without shoes on. Now, after everything is set up, Kammok has put these little loopholes pretty much all over the actual hammock. And what this does is it gives you connection points for a whole bunch of stuff that they've created for this hammock. And basically what it does is you can put a comforter underneath you so you don't have a whole bunch of wind and cold coming at you from underneath. Then put your sleeping bag on top. Then you can put the field blanket. The field blanket that they've created is a 40D ripstop nylon, and it also has some micro fleece on the other side. So you have 40D ripstop nylon, and then on the other side, underside, you have a micro fleece, which is super comfortable and super warm. So this thing has incredible features. It literally can turn into a pillow. So you just take the sack that it's in, turn it inside out, and it has fleece. And then you just stuff the blanket back in that thing, cinch it up, and then it's a pillow. You can just sleep on the micro fleece side. That's one of them, but once you take that thing out, you realize that there's 5 or 6 snaps that go across the center. You can actually turn this thing into a poncho. Now the poncho mode is my favorite. You turn this thing into a poncho, you wear it around, and you're warm, and then you have hands-free. The other thing is it's a blanket. There's a million people making blankets. Why is this one any different, right? Well, this one has the ability to actually connect the field blanket to all of those loopholes, making sure that your top layer above you that's gonna keep you nice and warm doesn't fall off your hammock in the middle of the night. This is such a great feature because your under comforter can be snapped in and your over comforter can be snapped in, really just making a giant sleeping bag. That's such a cool product. I think that field blanket is awesome. They do have one that's a little bit warmer than the field blanket, but we're in Southern California. I don't think we're gonna need much more than the field blanket. So once you've set up your entire setup, you have your Python straps, you have your Roo single, you have your Mesa Mat down so that you can put your shoes on it and they're not gonna get nasty in the brush, and you have your field blanket, you're pretty much set to go. Another thing that I found was pretty cool is they have something called the Burrow Bag, and this is an 8-liter bag. This is really nice. So you can just connect it. They have the same little snap that connect to the side of your hammock. And what I love about this is that you can just chuck your shoes in there. So if you didn't want to use a Mesa Mat or you didn't want to put anything down, you could just get in, take your shoes off, put them in your Burrow Bag, and then you're good to go, man. You can just sleep the night away knowing that your shoes are safe and that there's not spiders and creepy crawlies crawling inside of it, because nobody likes that, really. I don't care how much of a man you think you are, creepy crawlies in your shoes is not okay. So whether you're camping, whether you're taking a tent, going to the beach, whether you're hanging out, it doesn't really matter. You're gonna find a use for a hammock. And if you don't, buy the field blanket, because that thing is sweet. I love that poncho mode. So good. These guys are thinking of everything. I mean, a poncho blanket? Come on. They make a lot more stuff than just a hammock. Literally, they make something that is like connected to your car. If you wanted to like not sleep in your car, you could just throw this bar out with these two legs and you could sleep in a hammock off of your car. Now you're poncho blanketing and you're taking things off cars and stuff, like, so cool. I'm so glad you guys came and hung out and learned how to set up a hammock. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Right there, like that. That was almost like a dab, wasn't it?
I almost did it. I always promised myself I would never do that.